Hopefully this microphone is working. So I have my little fluffy microphone and I got the new attachment, so now it stays on there. And yeah, also I just got my hair done yesterday. Can you see? Isn't it so cute? I love it. Oh yeah, but what I'm gonna be doing today is I'm going to clean my fridge. So you guys are gonna clean the fridge with me, and we're gonna check out our pantry. See, you guys see what's going on? I like to have my fridge organized. Like, I'm kind of anal on how like the fridge organized, and look at this right now. It's not organized, so I'm like dying inside. My family probably hates me for it, but I'm like, it's so much easier to eat healthier when you have an organized fridge, at least for me. Like, it just looks clean and I want to eat clean. You know what I'm saying? I just want you guys to see my hair outside. Look, it's so pretty. Okay, so now I'm gonna check this fridge out and see what we're missing, and then kind of just rearrange things where they have to go so it looks presentable. Let's see. We have this fat box of yogurt in here with like just this much. So I kind of want to get a clear box case like the ones that I have in my pantry, just to put those yogurts for the kids in there, and so it looks more organized instead of having like a cardboard box. So we'll have a clear container and you can see the yogurts. And then this mom made rice. It's a mixable, but it has lids, and usually I'd be like a little bit more anal, but I'm gonna let it slide because it has a lid. And then I really love like iced coffee. I try not to drink coffee because I don't want to stain my teeth, so when I do I use a straw, but I feel like it still stains my teeth. So I try not to drink a lot of coffee, but when I do iced coffee, and this is the stock, I don't even know if it has a Stuk, I don't know, but I like this one. And I get the darker roast because I low-key have like gastritis. I did the hot chip challenge on, I don't know, Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, I don't know, on some holiday I did the chip challenge, and my stomach literally was burning. I felt like a hole was getting burned through my hole. I was like on the floor like crying. I was like, damn, I'm gonna have to go to the ER. It was that bad, and I didn't even eat the whole chip, which is honestly kind of embarrassing because I've always grown eating like spicy food and stuff. I thought I had a high tolerance, but I guess the past few years I haven't been eating enough and my stomach's just not used to that. So because of that, and I have gastritis, caffeine unfortunately is a food trigger for that. Shut up. So if you have gastritis, reflux, you should not be drinking coffee, iced coffee, teas that have caffeine, dark sodas, chocolate, because all those foods have caffeine and they can trigger your gastritis, okay? So for that reason, also I shouldn't be drinking coffee. So when I do, I try to get the darker roast, because darker roast actually has less caffeine than the lighter roast, which you would think it's like the opposite, but yeah. So I like to get the dark roast, the purple label. I love hazelnut flavor stuff, so last time I was at Target I saw this zero creamer and I got it. And honestly, I try not to buy stuff that is zero added sugars, because that just means to have sugar alcohols. But to be honest, I don't drink coffee that much, so if I get a creamer with sugar alcohols, I don't mind, because I know I'm not going to be drinking it consistently, you know? So if you do drink coffee consistently, I would just be careful when you are grabbing the zero added sugars, because those sugar alcohols don't get digested well in a lot of people, so you may have a lot of GI issues. And then we're seeing a lot of more cases of like digestive, like rectal cancer and stuff like that. So for that reason, I'm like even more picky on buying stuff that says zero something, like fat free or zero sugar, because anytime they're taking something off, they're replacing it with something else, and it's not always healthy, you know? So that's that on that. We have eggs over there, which eventually I want to also get a clear thingy so we don't have the cardboard, although I heard that you should store them in their original container. And then I think my mom bought like 2 of those boxes in Costco, so I'm just gonna leave this here. There's somebody's leftovers that are never gonna be ate. I don't know why. I don't know if that's everyone, but at least my family, we always bring our leftovers, but we never eat them. So it's like, just leave them. And then We have tinga left over, which I'm gonna actually put aside because I'm gonna eat that with this rice as my lunch right now. How do I make this thing shut up? What do I have to touch? See, we have like broth left over from a pho. I'm not gonna eat this anymore. Let me finish this side first. We have some tamales. I'm gonna leave these here because I think they just got that. It's my quinoa salad leftovers. Yeah, I need to toss that. See, this is what annoys me. Like, why can't we just put things in a Tupperware in a container and put it in here instead of, like, the pot is not a leftover container, okay? You put the food out of the pot into a container. Clear would be best if you're anal like me, so you know what you have when you put it in there in your fridge. But yeah, don't. Why? I have my sprouts. I'm gonna leave my sprouts here. See, chipotle in a clear container. Now I know what's in there. This is trash. I think I'm gonna throw this away. This is like a veggie patty mix that I made. That shit is old, so I'm gonna throw that away. Okay, I'm scared it's gonna okay. Yeah, I told you it was old. So that will get washed. So up here, I think I'm gonna have these containers. I like having these containers to store like my berries, some vegetables, because it helps them stay fresher for longer, especially the berries. Like, berries are a must for me in my kitchen. I would get strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries, and I'd like to have at least 3. I hate that the store sometimes you go and then there's like no raspberries or like no blackberries or no strawberries. I'm like, damn. But I try to keep at least 3 different berry types with me, and I keep them in here, and that helps them stay fresh longer. And see, like, I've had these forever and there's only like one bad strawberry, and they've been here for 2 weeks. If I had them in the regular container, like within 1 week, I already have like so many. So yeah, I like to keep them here, and I like that this has a divider, so I put like my strawberries, my blueberries, just wash them as I go, and then the blackberries and raspberries, I usually keep those in their own container. My sister realized that raspberries are one of her favorite fruits, and she didn't know that because she wouldn't buy them as often. And that's why sometimes, guys, if there's like foods that you haven't like bought or haven't tried, or yeah, I feel like everyone should have like a homework assignment or like a task to try a new produce, so a new fruit or a new vegetable each week, because we all need to eat more fruits and vegetables because it has fiber. Like, think about it, guys. We are people from Earth, and we have Mother Nature, Earth, that feeds us. So we want to eat what Mother Nature provides to us, which is like fruits, vegetables, or whole grains, legumes. That's why it's so important to eat a plant-based diet. When I hear plant-based diet, I always think like vegan, vegetarian, but that's not the case. I'm saying like you could still eat meats, not recommended, but I understand that food is more than just nutrition. It's also culture. It's I cannot think of words right now, but nutrition is more than just the actual nutrients that you get through food. So if you want to eat meat, there's certain foods, for example tacos, you just need to have that carne asada taco, right? Because a lentil taco, it's just not the same, and you just have to have the carne asada. Have it, but don't have it every day. That's where balance comes in. We talk about food, nutrition. Eating is one of our pleasures, right? That they like, what are they called? Like hedonistic pleasures that we have. So it's supposed to be pleasurable, but we need to have a balance in it, okay? So if you like tacos, you're not gonna be having tacos every single day because you're overdoing it there. But if you feed yourself with earth like you're supposed to, and then, you know, every once a week or every twice a month, you want to go have your tacos, but don't focus on, for example, where a lot of people go wrong when trying to lose weight is having cheat meals or cheat days where they eat good throughout the week or try to eat good, and then that meal or that day se atascan, like you guys go overboard, and that's not good. Because if we're talking about good nutrition, we're talking about not just how we are eating, but also the patterns that we're eating. So the making sure that we're not overeating and taking the time to eat mindfully and listening to our body cues of when it's had enough or when it needs more is important, because how much we eat is going to affect our blood sugar. And even if you don't have diabetes or prediabetes or any type of insulin resistant metabolic syndrome condition, even if you're healthy, you should still be mindful of your blood sugars, right? It's like, for example, if you have a car, you drive it manually and you are able to go 7 RPMs, but then you're going to redline it, right? Well, you're not going to be redlining it every single day because you can, because what is that going to do? It's going to fuck up your engine, right? So same thing with your body. Just because you're a healthy body and you have a healthy liver, pancreas that releases insulin doesn't mean you're going to be redlining it by overeating or by having those cheat meals or cheat days, because you can, because you're going to mess up your metabolism and we don't want to do that. So learning how to enjoy eating or maintain eating as an enjoyable activity. And also, when a lot of people start eating more fruits, more vegetables, we don't know sometimes where to start or like how to cook with them, how to get flavor with it, or how to get enjoyment out of it. And that's why it's so important to experiment and try a produce, or for example, if you do the task of trying a new produce every week, don't just try it once and then you don't like it and then don't ever try it again. Like, make yourself a list of like what produce or fruits and vegetables you want to try, and then if whichever one that you don't try, make sure you try it again a couple times, like 6, 7 times, 6, 7 different ways, to see if there's like a way that you prefer them. And that's really how you start to learn more about yourself and be able to make sure that eating is still pleasurable. But of course, it's going to require some work, some experiment, some open-mindedness to be able to do that. But it's worth it. Trust me, it's worth it. And if you don't like the fruits and vegetables, sometimes you have to, in your head, you have to, in order to make something pleasurable, you have to act like it's pleasurable. So even if it's not pleasurable, for example, especially if you have kids, right, and you're trying this experiment with your kids, you guys are all eating a new vegetable, you as a parent have to model this new experience and open-mindedness to your children. So you want to be positive and be like, this is good, or, you know, have just like a more optimistic or positive outlook on it. That is going to help a lot with having more acceptance towards new fruits and vegetables. But now that I went on a rant, we're gonna go back to cleaning our fridge. See, clear container. We know that we have like the leche evaporada. And I like having mason jars because they serve as a way for us to store like things from cans like this, but also because I love eating oatmeal and like chia pudding and stuff like that, and it's so much easier to make it in that container because you can see like what you're putting and everything. So it's just very multifunctional. So I like having mason jars of this size, which is, I think it's like 12 ounces. And then I also like having this one, which is I think it's the 6 ounce, the tiny one. I have kombucha here, which, by the way, I was getting my hair done yesterday and I was talking with my hairdresser's mom about kombuchas, and there's a lot of different kombuchas out there, and I highly encourage people to drink kombucha. Kombucha is actually one of those foods that I didn't like, and I had to keep trying it and like, trying different stuff, you know, just keep experimenting until I found one and I really liked it. Actually, this one that got me into kombuchas, it's the Synergy, the Guava Goddess. It is so good. Out of all the brands out there, this is the one that I got because it has no added sugars. So it has only 60 calories, 10 milligrams of sodium, 16 grams of carbohydrates from sugars, and kombucha is gonna have sugars because, again, remember, kombucha has probiotics. So the reason why I drink kombucha is so I can get probiotics. Those probiotics are made, they're created when sugars are fermented. We need that sugar for the fermentation, okay? So anything that has probiotics is gonna have sugars naturally, okay? So it has 16 grams of carbohydrates from total sugars. Remember those sugars that are natural, that are getting fermented. And it has 0 grams of added sugars. So that's good. That means that they didn't add more sugar to make this drink taste better or sweeten it. And that's what I'm looking for, because those added sugars are the ones that impact our health negatively in a bad way. So we don't want that. And yeah, there's a lot of different brands, but this is my favorite one. It has no added sugars and it's delicious. And the Guava Goddess is the flavor that converted me, but I honestly love all their flavors. So you guys should try those out. And then another tip, I remember I tried to, once I found it and I loved it, I tried to put my family on. So I was like, okay, mom, buy it, sister, buy it. And I remember my mom, when she bought it, she like shook it like this because you'll see at the bottom like all the little probiotics. And you have to, it says, what does it say? It says like shake or stir. Ugh, I don't even know where it's at. And that's probably why people don't see it, because I can't even find it where it says. But basically you're supposed to like shake, just stir it so that the bottoms things can, you know, like swirl in with the rest of the stuff. And yeah, my mom, she like shook it and then she opened it. It's carbonated, so it was like, you know. So if you try, just make sure you swirl, don't shake. I have this, I don't even know if it's good anymore. It's made in San Diego, so you know how to support. And again, this one, it's gonna have sugars because it's made out of fruit juices. So it's gonna have sugars from the natural juices in them. But what we don't want is added sugars. So this one doesn't have any added sugars, and that's why I like to grab this juice, because I like making smoothies a lot with yogurt. Again, yogurt, so I can get my probiotics. And again, because it has probiotics, it means it's gonna have natural sugars, okay? I like to keep juices around that have 0 added sugar, so I like to have this one. But this one, I haven't made a lot of smoothies recently because I haven't been to the store to get yogurt. And also, I don't really have a mix. I feel I'm really into right now tropical smoothies, like with peaches, strawberries, pineapples. And when I put the green, I feel like it looks disgusting. So I need to buy better frozen fruits to make a blend and use this juice up. I bought beer the other time, so now we look like alcoholics. And I don't know what is in here. It smells like, I mean, it is cheese, but it smells like moldy, but I feel like some cheeses are supposed to smell moldy, so I don't know. And I'm not gonna throw it away and get in trouble, so I'm gonna just leave that there. Sometimes I just like crave pickles, but I like having like the big like whole pickles, and I wasn't able to find some, but Costco had these. I was like, whatever, I'm gonna just buy my coconut waters. Oh my god, see, this is something that I did not buy because it has 31 grams of added sugar in a can, and I would never. I'll tell you guys a little trick. So for any of the nutrients on the label, if you want to know if it's considered high or low, there's a rule or a trick that you could use called the 520 rule. And that basically means that if the percentage in the, what we're talking about here is the percentage here. So if you see, you'll see that there are percentages, right? So the 520 rule is talking about these percentages in dark, the daily value percentage. So if it's around 5%, that means that that nutrient is low. If it's around that 20%, then that means that that nutrient is high. So some of the nutrients that we always want to find low are going to be like your fats, your sodium, and your added sugars, yeah. So this one on the added sugars, it's at 62%. 20 is high. 62 is super high. Okay, so, and that's for the serving size of 1 can. So if you drink 1 can, you're, you know. So again, if you have like diabetes, or you just, or you're managing your blood sugar, which should be everyone, make sure you don't drink a whole can and then use this can to maybe like split between, again, 20 is high, 60 is like 4 times as much as 20. So if you like split it by 4 people, that means you guys are all going to be drinking like 20% high added sugars. It's still high, but it's not 60 high, you know. So that's something that you could do. And if that's too much, then the other option is just don't drink it, or find other better products or options out there. See, alcoholics. You never want to store your onions open just like that, because onions actually, like, it can it like draws in, like it collects the bacteria. Oh, I don't know how to talk. ¿Sí me explico? Like it draws in, basically like cleans your fridge, and like, so you don't want to have it uncovered. The onions, you always want to keep them in like a Ziploc bag, and if you have plastic ones, cool. If you're trying to be a little bit more environmentally friendly to help out our earth so that we can continue to get fruits and vegetables of good quality, then try to switch for a reusable Ziploc bag. So something like this, and yeah, whenever you're done, you just wash it, put it dry, and you can use it again instead of just throwing it away, which I'm trying to get my family to shift that route, but sometimes it's just, I get it, it's just easier and cheaper to get the plastic ones. But also remember, we need to take care of our earth, our planet, because it takes care of us. We take care of it, it will take care of us. Okay? Yes, can't be complaining about capitalism and like how it ruins like your health and earth and stuff like that, and then you yourself still be playing a part into it. I'm not saying you're the one that plays the most part of into it, but put your money where your mouth is. I'm a hypocrite, huh? Look at all this plastic in here. But I try my best, you know. It's hard, but try. This poor wilted lettuce, I'm just gonna throw that away. And something else I want, I'm throwing this right now into a garbage can, and I don't like throwing food away in my garbage can. Nobody should be throwing their food away in the garbage can, because what happens is food, when it decomposes, cuando se echa a perder más, like it will start to release methane gases, and those are the gases that produce that I don't know how to explain it, but basically is one of those bad gases that affects our ozone layer and contributes to climate change. So again, if you want to take care of earth, try composting, and that's something I'm gonna be more mindful about. I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna get a compost bin or something, because yeah, I'm not trying to contribute to climate change. I'm trying to protect Mother Earth, Mother Nature. I love you. And now check the doors. I have the green goddess dressing from Trader Joe's that everyone loves, and then I also got a lemon tahini one. So yeah, I just wanted to try those for my salad. So what I like to do to try to stay plant-based, I try to have 4 meals. Okay, my first meal, and I call this the slay way. But the first meal, I always have oatmeal, and that is because I like to poop good. Okay, so remember, we're trying to eat fiber. We need to eat fiber. Actually, let me backtrack a little bit. I talked about those probiotics that we get from, it's gonna be interrupting me. I talked about those probiotics that we get from fermented foods like yogurt, the kombucha. Those probiotics are those those little bacteria that keep our gut happy, right? And in order to keep those bacteria happy, they also need to eat. So what's their food? We feed them fiber, and fiber is the skeleton of plants. So anything that's a plant is gonna have fiber. So remember why we want to take care of earth, because it feeds us, right? It gives us those plants. So fruits, veggies, legumes, whole grains. We want to make most of our diet revolve around that. And then I like to supplement with animal products like Greek yogurt, eggs, chicken. When I do, I try to get good quality of it, because again, our food systems are so fucked up because of capitalism and them not really care about the quality but more of the quantity so they can get more profit. So, you know, try to be careful with that. And a lot of people think that eating healthy is expensive, and it doesn't have to be. Yeah, it doesn't. I get that fruits and veggies, they're pretty pricey, I guess, if you compare it to boxed foods, but at the same time, it's the staple of your food is gonna be the whole grains, right? So your quinoa, your pastas that could be whole wheat, you know, but your whole grains like that, I don't know why I'm blanking out. And also legumes, so your beans, and those are hella cheap. And veggies, you just mix it around. For example, my quinoa salad, that's a meal that's perfect, and it's super cheap to make. So I honestly don't understand when people say that eating healthy is expensive, because it might seem like it, but the amount of food that you get and for how long it lasts and the quality that it gives to your health, I don't think it's expensive. I really don't. And I mean, food should be expensive because you're not just buying the food, you're buying the labor of it. And there's a lot of labor that goes into producing those plant foods. You know, those people that are out there in the weather, harsh weather conditions, hot, cold, rainy, they're out there picking, growing, cleaning foods for us to eat. So yeah, we should pay a good price if we're not going to be growing our own food, you know? It's still, you know what I'm saying? That's if you want good quality. So yeah, I have those dressings for, did I even finish talking about my Slayway? I don't think I finished. That's the thing about me, okay? Once I lose my train of thought, it's gone. I don't know how to explain it, but Slayway is like my fingerprint of how to eat healthy, made easy, you know, simplified. So in the morning, it's my oatmeal, and that's so I can get my fiber. I think that's unlimited earlier. So I can get my fiber, and I always add my berries. That's why I like having berries always with me. I have my oatmeal with my berries, my chia seeds, again for more fiber and those healthy fats. Yeah, my second meal was gonna be kind of like a lunch. I try to have either a salad, like that quinoa salad, with the fruit as like my dessert, or a sandwich. Or some like type of sandwich, like a pita sandwich or a wrap. So like a salad, wrap, or sandwich I like to have for my second meal. And sometimes even a quesadilla, because that's kind of like in the wrap category for me. So that's like my second meal. And then my third meal, I like having something like a yogurt bowl. So or a smoothie, yogurt based smoothie. And again, that's why I can get my probiotics, more fruit servings there. And I always like to add a little bit of chia, hemp seeds, so I can just add extra plants. So I like to do that. And then my fourth meal, I typically just like to follow like the standard, like my plate, like basic type of dinner. And with all of these meals, I always like to include at least 3 food groups and three like sources of fiber. For my last meal, I just follow that plate method. So I try to have like most half of my plate like of veggies. So I like to either steam some veggies, roast some veggies. I really love roasting veggies. Or sauteing some veggies. And then my protein, which I'm trying to include more tofu. That's a food that I'm still experimenting with, like different ways to cook it so I can like it without putting so much sodium in it, because I feel like that's how a lot of the recipes go. But yeah, I either go with tofu, salmon, and salmon always wild caught. You'll never find me eating farm fresh, and you shouldn't be eating farm fresh or supporting farm fresh salmons in a lot of stores. I live, it's kind of like a food desert. We have like a Stater Brothers, which is kind of pretty an expensive store. They only have farm raised salmon. I asked them if they have wild caught, and the only wild caught they have is the frozen kind. So I don't really eat salmon anymore, and because we don't take care of our planet and our waters are polluted and our fish are eating plastic, and because of the food chain, if our fish are eating plastic and then we ingest the fish, we're ingesting the same toxins that the fish ingested from the plastic. So for that reason, I also try not to eat a lot of fish and always try to recycle. So yeah, that's my Slayway. And then always just drink water, and then any snacks that I want, it'll either be like a cheese stick, like pepino cut up, or like fruit cut up. But if I do a fruit, I always have to balance it out, because I'm gonna eat just the natural sugars, but still sugars. So I want to balance it out with some healthy fats or some protein. So if I eat a fruit, like let's say like some pineapple chunks, I'll either grab some nuts. So that's something I always like to keep in my pantry. A cheese stick, and the cheese stick always low in salt, or like nut butter, like peanut butter. If I do like apples with peanut butter, like that. So that's what I do for snacks. Did I start already? Hard-boiled eggs. Well, I like edamame. I actually haven't grabbed edamame in a while, but I love like getting edamame and just like heating it up and putting a little bit of salt and pepper and limon. Good snack. Or sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes, if you roast them and you put you can either make them sweet like with cinnamon, or make it a little bit more savory and then dip it with like sriracha and ketchup and queso fresco. It's good. So eating healthy, you guys, once you find like your style, and that's just gonna take experimenting and open mind, like eating healthy is possible. A lot of us don't know how to eat healthy, and that's because if you're anything like me, I grew low income family. So So our resources weren't there, our education wasn't there, and what do we eat? We eat what we're surrounded with. For example, people that live in food deserts and like liquor stores are like the only food option stores that they have. What are they gonna get more? They're gonna get more foods that are processed and simple carbs, you know, like Ritz, Oreos, or those muffins. That's what their diet is gonna consist of. Of like a traumatic response, because living in those conditions is a trauma. Like that is, like, we all deserve to live in a place where we have our basic needs met, like our food. I find that us living low income, it's a trauma, and we learn how to eat because of this reality that we're in. And we have to know that if we want to eat better, we have to improve the way that we eat. And sometimes that means taking those foods that we have as a cultural food, trying ways that we can, I want to say, like healthify it, like make it a little bit healthier so that we can still enjoy those foods, those flavors from our culture, but in a way that is beneficial for our body and our health. So yeah, that's how I see our like bad eating behaviors. I draw the parallel with like our bad eating behavior with like trauma responses and like mental health, you know. Yeah, now I'm going to clean the glass stuff and then rearrange the stuff in the fridge. That's the fridge organized. So I was supposed to go to Costco right now, but my lazy ass woke up at 1 a.m. and now it's 6 and they closed. So I'm gonna go to Costco tomorrow, and then whatever stuff that I don't need in like bulk, I'm gonna go to Aldi's, which is right next door. Okay, so I just heard good news. So we're gonna have an Aldi's. So where I live, I actually just mentioned this earlier, how I feel like we live in a semi food desert because the only store we have is like Stater Brothers, and it's kind of expensive. But my sister was just telling me that we're gonna have a new Aldi's around our neighborhood, around the block. So now I'm excited. I wish it was Trader Joe's, but I think Trader Joe's has a thing, I forgot what the term is, but they only build around certain neighborhoods with a certain amount of income. I'm happy because I love Aldi's. I'm gonna be there all the time. Okay. All right, now I've got to go. And look at my hair again, it's so beautiful. Don't fall in love with me. Okay, bye.